everyone, today we're going to be reacting to Angelica Tosh's video about Unreal Engine 5 and Total WoW. Now, if you've seen this Unreal Engine 5 trailer before, it looked phenomenal. They had the whole YouTube DMC aid. And she's going to be showing exclusive gameplay clips of Unreal Engine 5 Azeroth. Now, there's a huge Classic Plus channel. I'm really interested to see what she has to say about all of this, so we're going to dive right into this reaction.
There's something really magical and captivating about seeing your old favorite game on a newer, more modern engine. We've discussed remasters quite a lot on this channel, from Diablo 2 Resurrected to, more recently, the Oblivion remaster. I've been pretty vocal when it came to the issue.
I did play the Oblivion remaster, by the way, and the Oblivion remaster is really interesting because in the Oblivion remaster, when I was playing, I actually had a really good time. But it wasn't necessarily a much better game than the original Oblivion. Now, brought to the modern day and modern age, I had a blast playing it and diving through it and enjoying that world. But after about 45-50 hours, I was done with it. I didn't really finish everything or do everything. I got a lot of fun and enjoyment out of it. But unlike, say, a classic full revamp, Oblivion is a more limited game in comparison. I mean, I know there's mods and everything like that. I'm not trying to say, like, you know, Oblivion's a bad game. I love it. It's one of my favorite games of all time. But it's just an interesting, like, comparison because an MMO that's fully remastered, you know, we can look at something like Cataclysm, which was a full-on remake, versus a remaster, which is what Total WoW is doing with the graphical enhancements. And thank you for the follow, Potong Pulse. Welcome to the cult. I appreciate that.
Issues surrounding these remasters, but if we're honest, those particular issues had less to do with how the world looks on the engine and more to do with the creative liberties and decisions made by the people behind those particular projects. Still, I can't lie when I say that especially Oblivion on the Unreal 5 engine took my breath away. It's beautiful and it scratched a particular itch that I didn't even know I had. But there's one game that I honestly never thought would get this treatment, and that's WoW. I don't claim to be an expert on those matters by any means, but something about it just always told me like this wouldn't be possible.
True. As a Classic Plus channel, I will say it up front, Classic Plus has been a pipe dream for like 15 years. People have been wanting Classic Plus and the idea of Classic Plus for a very long time. And the idea of getting a proper Classic Plus has effectively become folklore at this point in time. So here we are now, with Classic Plus being an actual legitimate reality in the near future. And then you have private servers also delivering that remaster experience, showing us what that graphical output and that graphical experience could look like, how interesting it could be, how much fun people could have in a world that's their favorite childhood place brought to life. And with how popular it's been, there's clearly a huge demand for it.
And then the team behind Total WoW announced that they're going to be extending the life of WoW by replicating the vanilla client in the Unreal 5 engine. As fever dream-esque as that might sound, this is a real project. They've released a video and screenshots so you can see what it's looking like so far. So today we're going to be looking at all of these and discussing why I think Total WoW is actually the best place to see this sort of thing come to life. The game is now in a playable state, and I'll also be able to show you a couple of exclusive clips that were kindly shared with me by the Total WoW team. Before we get started, hi, my name is Angelica, and if you've been following me for a while, you've probably heard me mention Total WoW every now and again. I actually have tons of comments from you guys telling me to play Total WoW. And what you may not know, tons of comments.
I am pretty sure every single one of these guys has commented on my videos as well. I'm gonna be real, I'm not even surprised. The Total WoW community is hella passionate. Every time I make a Classic Plus video, there's 500 comments in the comment section saying, yo, Eben, give up on Blizzard. Fuck Blizzard. Just come over to Total WoW. Come over to Project Epoch or this or that. Every single time I make a video, they're there. And to a degree, I get the passion behind it. Because, you know, these are a lot of people that are burnt out from Blizzard, they're burnt out from official version of World of Warcraft, and playing the Total WoW or whatever other server makes them more passionate because they feel like it's a passionate team that's trying to build up an experience for them in the community. So they're way more passionate than, say, Blizzard fans. Blizzard fans are incredibly passionate, more toxic, but it's interesting dichotomy regardless.
From you guys telling me to play Total WoW. And what you may not know is that I have in fact been living in this particular version of Azeroth for a while now. Semi-incognito, but more recently with a character that's literally called Angelica Tosh. To me, Total WoW is this thing that has reignited my passion for Azeroth in a way that no other existing version of WoW could. It feels good to log in and just exist here. It's the perfect mix of all of the familiar and beloved vanilla content that has us consistently going back to WoW, and brand new content that feels authentic and natural to the world. Whether that's added cut content that never made it into the original WoW, or additional story written by the Turtle WoW team which is based on and inspired by the lore.
This is one of my biggest things with TWoW that makes me so excited for the future of Classic in general. They made a new patch, 1.18, and they added a whole new zone, a whole new human faction, and it's this little duchy and location. You can see the passion and the design and the philosophy, and I know for a fact that Blizzard devs are watching TWoW, Project Epoch, and all these private servers, and I hope they steal everything. Everything about TWoW, everything about Epoch, steal it all. I don't give a shit about people saying you stole from these companies. Steal, Blizzard. You were the best. You were at your peak when you stole from every single competitor. They need to go back to stealing. They need to go back to taking what works. Like the amount of zones, the dungeons, the raids, the class balancing. Don't take the 1.12 client. You can leave that with TWoW. But like, so you see the passion of what they've created here over 8 years. And I'm honestly jealous. I am jealous that private server players get access to this. And yes, I know everybody's gonna say, but Eben, you can play this as well. You guys get what I'm saying. And a huge portion of the community will never get access to this unless Blizzard officially makes a version, because a lot of people are averse to private servers. But this shit looks banger. That's all I'm trying to say.
It feels really good to experience it, and it's the closest that I've gotten to replicating that feeling of my first ever time in Azeroth. The team behind Turtle WoW have said this themselves, and the biggest thing that's holding them back is the vanilla client. So, on a server where one of the main features is the added or Classic Plus content, they are majorly hindered by the old client, which isn't the friendliest when it comes to actually implementing the new content. They do their best with it, but it's less than ideal from a developer standpoint. The Unreal 5
They should have gone with 3.35, or maybe even a Kata client or something else. The fact that they went with like the original vanilla client is probably the biggest gripe for a lot of people with TWoW. It's very frustrating to play on. Now, I'm not gonna like harp on it, like there's gonna be a billion comments about it anyways. The only gripe people have with the vanilla client is the 1.12 client. It's terrible. That's the biggest issue people have with TWoW. Now, I know the Unreal Engine 5 stuff is alpha, but this looks unrendered. I'm gonna be real. I'm not trying to be rude or mean here. This scene looks unrendered. Now, I know it's not finished. I know this isn't the ultimate and finished version of Project Epoch, right? Of the Unreal Engine 5 graphical situation. But this shit looks unrendered. This shit looks like the game hasn't finished loading. Y'all see the meme of like, I'm playing on negative graphics, so you can't hide in the brush in an FPS game? That's what this kind of looks like.
Engine is going to revolutionize the way in which Classic Plus content is supported on Turtle WoW.
But this isn't finished, let's be real.
It's going to give them more freedom, and I think that this will mean an abundance of this new, fresh Classic Plus content, as they will likely be able to focus their energy more on the creative side instead of ways in which they have to limit themselves to actually make this work. But the biggest and most obvious benefit for us is the way that the world will look. They've released a video showing us a little bit.
So you can see this, like the professionally done camera angles and version of the game. This here looks amazing, right? In the trailer they made. But in the actual game clip that she showed, it definitely did not look that good as of yet. It likely will in the future, but as of now, it definitely was not that experience.
Of what we can expect, and there's a bit of a disclaimer there saying that this isn't the finished product, particularly the lighting and shadows will be further worked on. And the finished.
So you can see here with the left and the right, Unreal Engine 5 versus original. You can kind of see the difference where when the fully rendered version looks amazing, but then you have the vanilla version which is there. So it will look good when it's finished, if they finish it and make it look good.
Finished product, particularly the lighting and shadows, will be further worked on and improved, but nevertheless, I was stunned. They knew what they were doing when they chose Duskwood as one of the locations to showcase for this. I don't know if anyone else is the same, but Duskwood is a zone that I've always felt this connection to. There's something about the darkness of the woods and all of the stories that are interconnected, the general tragedy of Duskwood that makes me want to spend a longer time there. I always complete every single quest in the zone just because I love the vibes, and it's one of my favorite parts of the journey to 60 as an Alliance character. As you'll see from the Unreal Engine 5 clips, you really get a true dark night in Duskwood. Has anyone seen this trend recently on TikTok where it's like screenshots from vanilla WoW of Elwin Forest, and it's like what Elwin Forest looks like, and it's followed by these AI generated images of how we saw Elwin Forest.
This is true. This is absolutely how my childhood was. When I viewed World of Warcraft, this is how I remembered it. But then you play it and you're like, holy fuck, this is dog shit. But this is how I remember World of Warcraft when I was actually playing it as a child. This is how the memories, this is how the mind came together for the situation.
It almost feels appropriate that these images are AI generated because it's kind of like this unattainable feeling at this point. Like, you're never gonna get to experience Azeroth with those fresh eyes again, where you do see that truly amazing side of this world. But seeing those Duskwood clips, the fact that they're real, truly, it's like those How It Felt for Us slides, except we'll actually get to see it, which is insane. It is dark, it's moody. Looking at it sort of makes you feel like you're there. We've all been here, we've all played this game, and we've done these quests. We know the story, but with this new look to the world, you get to further experience this place from almost what feels like the shoes of the people that live in Darkshire. Because honestly, I always kind of imagined that this is what it looks like through their eyes. It weirdly gives a bit of a horror element to WoW. Imagine playing a hardcore character and Stitches emerges from the true darkness of the woods, barely visible and lit up by the dim lights that hang in the town. Ashenvale is another place that they showcased here, and I mean, again, the engine gives it such a mystical...
Ah yes, because that's what I like in my World of Warcraft. Goddamn body horror of Stitches in Unreal Engine 5 graphical lighting with his intestines and everything sticking out. And you just get a fucking meat cleaver from the fucking darkness. And all I hear is like I'm leveling with Hammer Dance or like Hello J Tello. Just see a fucking hook come and grab a Tello. And all I hear is Tello go, ah, as he gets sucked into the darkness. Absolute horror vibes. Let's fucking go.
And ethereal quality, but at the same time kind of formidable too. It really makes you think about the Night Elves as a race and why they are Night Elves. Shadow melding here would make you truly disappear, become one with this gloomy forest. It's a change to the world, but it's making me perceive the entire race of Night Elves in a different light. And then you realize that this is only scratching the surface, because if we focus even just on the zones that are meant to be dark, like Tearsful Glades or Deadwind Pass, this makes me want to explore them top to bottom again. The Karazhan Tower.
I can't wait to see a Durotar in an extra, more high quality version of Sand. We're going from Durotar to Arrakis, because like, you know, Dune, you know, Unreal Engine 5, but yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, the graphic is big, but the reason Total WoW is popular isn't the graphics. The graphics are cool. The graphics help and makes people really excited and interested, and it does feel really cool to see the world redone like that. I'm really excited for it. But I feel like the reason Total WoW is so successful is because it's adding this Unreal Engine 5 graphics on top of that already pre-built, well, not pre-built, this that already built and expanded upon Classic Plus world.
The Agamand Mills. Even though Classic...
Not that she said otherwise. I should clarify, not that she said otherwise. I'm just saying that's my opinion.
WoW and Vanilla are majorly focused on the journey while leveling anyway, this will make it even more interesting because you're gonna be rediscovering the world in a way that you never could before this. You are going to be going to all those corners with all those potentially annoying quests that you would otherwise skip to fully discover the map because you're gonna want to see what it looks like. That, combined with the general essence of Turtle WoW and how the community is, really reminds me of WoW from years ago. I think that in our lifetime, this is probably the closest that we will all get to that feeling of discovering WoW for the first time.
And I'll say this as well about TWoW, is TWoW has that level of popularity because TWoW is not about endgame rating or PvP. That 10,000-ish active players on the biggest server right now, on the one server, a lot of the hype for those people that are playing World of Warcraft is because they're playing the world, the journey, the leveling, the gameplay, the questing. TWoW's player base are authentic classic players because they play classic the way it's meant to be played. Whereas a lot of modern day classic players play to the end game, PvP, raiding, this and that. So it's a different kind of like player base with different kind of play style. Total WoW, it does have the end game raiding and all that cool content, but a lot of the content they add to the world and the game are new zones, new quests, new items. The world itself and building upon and expanding the world is what makes Total WoW so incredibly popular.
From the screenshots that they've shared so far, it looks like they're doing a stunning job. It's very pleasant to look at, and I won't be surprised if this drives a whole new audience to WoW because of the more modern feel. Kind of like how with the Oblivion remaster, a lot of people that had only experienced Skyrim prior to this and had never actually played Oblivion because of how dated it looks, went back and they were able to experience the story and the world thanks to that remaster.
She's not wrong in this context. A lot of people will never try private servers, they'll never play them or engage in them because they're worried about Blizzard and the world and the content. A lot of people will actually give Total WoW a shot because there is no Unreal Engine 5 WoW, not even retail's Unreal Engine 5. So Unreal Engine 5 T WoW will definitely bring a whole new audience, a whole new player base to Classic in general, because they'll want to experience that Unreal 5 graphical update and see the world they grew up with. A lot of people that quit in the past will definitely come back to try it out and take a look at it. Because like she said with Oblivion and other remasters, a lot of people that played the sequel will come back and play the prequel because it's now updated and more modern.
And one of the main issues that I've heard deters people from trying vanilla, whether they are retail players or just somebody that's never tried WoW in the first place, is the fact that it looks really dated and they cannot get past that feeling. Not just with the vanilla client, but I've heard people say that even with the Wrath client. It makes them feel a similar way. It just looks really old, especially if you're used to newer graphics at this point. So I can see this being the thing that actually motivates a lot of people to give it a go and potentially fall in love with the world. And also on the topic of this just feeling better than the vanilla client, we've already talked about how it's easier for the team to implement new stuff, but also for players, they're promising a ton of quality of life updates, with my favorite being the likes of an extended quest log. So being able to carry more than just the current 20 quest limit. As a quest hoarder, I wholeheartedly approve. They're going to have a proper widescreen support.
Let's read all this. Extended quest log, proper widescreen support, add a field of view slider, support for DLS and AMD Fidelity FX, better performance with and add-on support, action queuing so DPS is no longer dependent on latency. God bless, fuck that shit. And organic multi-language support. This is all interesting, this is all cool. Now, like I said, if the game had just been this, I don't think anybody would have cared. Because as much as this stuff is cool, this is on top of TWoW's expanded upon world and content.
An FOV slider, better add-on support, better multi-language support, which is another super great thing about Turtle WoW and how universally accessible it is. They recently launched their South American server, for example, and it looks like the future is bright in terms of supporting communities beyond just English speakers. I really appreciate that. As somebody who speaks 3 languages, I think it's great that they're expanding in this way. But there's a crazy element that I haven't mentioned yet. Cross-platform support, making it
3 languages is pretty impressive. I only speak 2. I'm not Mr. Worldwide. I speak 3 accents of English. I speak American English, I speak Australian English, and I speak my bastard current accent English. Oi mate, how you doing? That was a really terrible Aussie accent right now. My Aussie accent's kind of lost, actually. Now that I think about it, the more I live in the US, the more I speak with Americans, the more my accent has bastardized and changed over time. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
compatible with Android smartphones.
This right here is probably going to increase Total WoW's player count 10x. I would not be surprised to see 500,000 Total WoW players with Total WoW client on a goddamn mobile fucking phone. Absolutely, it's going to be fucking enormous for a lot of people. This is like absolutely insanity. This, though, does worry me that if they do official Classic Plus, we might be getting Classic Plus mobile. It is what it is, I'm just saying.
Phones and tablets. This is huge. And like the general idea of WoW on Unreal Engine 5, this is something that I never thought possible. As a kid, I could only dream about being able to play WoW on the go. If you're a commuter as well, this is so for you. On the other side of things, if you are a purist like me and you're worried that you're not really gonna like the new HD textures or updated character models that they have to have in order for them to actually look good on the client, there are options for you as well. First of all, you can switch to the legacy character models. For someone like me, that's super important because I'm a big fan of the old janky character models. But you will also have access to legacy mode, and that will just retain the old look of WoW as you know it.
And that's the good thing, is like, you always need to have that toggle. Without the toggle, it would piss off a lot of people. So having the toggle be a legitimate thing, having the toggle be in game, so that if you want the graphics, you can click it. If you don't want the graphics, you can click it off. That's how they need to do it. The toggle is mandatory here. Otherwise, the classic player base, whether it's private or official, are gonna tweak out.
So if it's something that's putting you off, it shouldn't really be an issue. Now, I want to talk about why I'm so positive about this in the context of Turtle WoW. Honestly, I think that there's no better place for Azeroth to take the leap onto the Unreal 5 engine. In the beginning of the video, I mentioned the Oblivion remaster and how I have, again, been vocal about certain issues that I have with it, and mostly those issues aren't related to the idea of the game on that engine, but more so some of the decisions that were made, which I think took away from an authentic Oblivion experience. They didn't ruin the game, but it certainly kind of had me questioning certain parts of it, which it did kind of suck a little bit in some cases. The thing with Turtle WoW is I would trust them to do a good job with it and keep things feeling authentic and true to our beloved Azeroth. This is a team that's dedicated to preserving that very feeling that we all had way back then, but also
In regards to the censorship and the changing, I do think people have to just take a deep breath, like corporations and activist groups and whatnot, and realize that there's nothing wrong with sexualizing people. We're human. Men do it, women do it. It's second nature. Like, are some things in older games problematic? Absolutely. But censoring that doesn't necessarily make it better. It's just hiding the past. You don't want to hide the past. You want to show people what it was like so people understand it. The censoring for the sake of censoring is never going to benefit people. It's going to drive people like into more like angry like reactions to censorship. If people feel like they're being taken away from you, it's always going to make the experience worse. They need to accept that people are people, treat them like adults, and let them play the game how they want to play it.
Also presenting us with an almost alternate reality where we're still as young as we were then, discovering an extension of WoW that we could only really dream of. Like I said, they've implemented cut content as well as a lot of brand new story and zones that are based on and inspired by the lore. It doesn't feel out of place. Whatever way they've worked these new elements into the world doesn't take you out of it. It's all done in the spirit of a true Classic Plus that, in my opinion, not even SOD could achieve.
Yeah, now this might tilt people. I love SOD. I think SOD was amazing, but TWoW was closer to Classic Plus than SOD was. SOD was an alpha for a version of the game that is not Classic Plus, but it's still an alpha for Classic Plus. TWoW definitely handles the Classic Plus experience better than SOD did. And SOD was great. SOD was my favorite version of Classic so far, not counting 2019. But TWoW was definitely a closer or more organic Classic Plus than SOD was.
If you've been following my videos for a while, especially the Elder Scrolls ones, you'll know that I'm not really the biggest fan of mods. I appreciate that they exist. I really appreciate the community behind them because I think that they have a really big part in keeping those games that I love so much alive for so long. But aside
I've never heard somebody else say that aside from me. That's fucking wild to me. I don't play Skyrim or Oblivion or most games with mods. In fact, if I can avoid mods, I almost always avoid mods. I typically enjoy playing games in their default state, like how the devs intended, how they did. I'll install a mod if a game absolutely needs it, but I've never been able to truly get into mods, and they've always kind of like been something that's been there, but something I never partook in. I've never heard anybody else say that. I kind of felt like I was in the minority or singular in the sense that I play the games the way they were originally. So that's kind of cool. I'm not alone, chap. Other people like non-modded versions of games. Damn.
from some quality of life updates, I generally just stay away from mods. I never really mod my games. Something about modded content just takes me out of the world, and it's nothing to do with the talented creators behind the mods. It's purely a personal issue. Which is why I initially was a skeptic with Turtle WoW when I heard about all of this added and new content that wasn't actually part of the original vanilla. I was worried that it would make me feel the way Skyrim mods make me feel. But it wasn't like that at all. It's seamless to the point that sometimes I forget whether or not a thing was actually part of original WoW or not. They have such a skillful way of writing and implementing this new content that doesn't make it feel like fanfiction, but just a natural, organic part of Azeroth. I'm confident that the move to the Unreal 5 engine is exactly the treat that it promises to be, without any unnecessary changes implemented to satisfy a quota or impress some investors. I think it's in good hands, and I'm really excited for their 2025.
I'm gonna say something about investors, but I'm not sure if I should say it out loud. Investors need to get Wrathgated. There we go. Investors need to get Wrathgated. I'm gonna leave it at that.
5 launch. In the meantime, however, there are still a lot of reasons to check out Turtle WoW right now. The main one, of course, is that I may or may not be playing on it. But aside from that, the upcoming 1.18 patch is really exciting. From brand new zones and instances to expanding old zones with fresh corners to explore, now is a really great time to get into Turtle WoW, whether you're a WoW veteran or a brand new player, because you
3 new bosses: Sorcerer Thane, Thorician, Incindus, Molten Guardian, Incindus' Lair, and Old Shadowforge. Goddamn, that's really goddamn cool. I did react to the trailer for this with all the new dungeons and zones. It's on my second channel, my clip channel as it is. T-WoW is fucking cooking. Blizzard needs to learn from this and embrace this and just cook just as hard, because like, god damn, look at this shit. I know Classic Plus is coming, but man, the wait's frustrating.
will likely be on equal footing when it comes to discovering all of this content that is yet to come. This is an ever-fresh realm. There are always new players here, starting zones always see traffic, but especially right now is a particularly busy time if you were thinking about getting started. If you're worried about stability, I'll just mention that Turtle WoW has been online since 2018, and they've never really had any significant or prolonged downtime. You're not going to see any queues if you go to play right now, despite quite a high population even during off-peak hours. I mentioned that they recently opened their South American server, which peaked at about 10k players without any lag or crashing, so you can imagine the sort of technology that you're working with here. And like I said, just in time for 1.18, this is a really good time. Besides the major expansion to the world, they've also added things like class balance changes and just a lot of other general things in between, which I recommend you check out. I'll have the link to the changelog in the description of this video. If you're already playing on the server, I would love to hear your thoughts on it in the comments below. If you're new to it, however, I have a link in the description to where you can register and download the client. Once you've got the launcher, it's really easy to install it from there, and you'll be able to start playing straight away. And hopefully I will see you guys out in the world. But for now, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. As always, big shout out to my lovely channel members. Thank you guys so much. And I'll see you all in the next video. Be seeing you. Bye.
So this was a really good video by Angela Katosh. There'll be a link to the video in the description down below. If you haven't subscribed to her yet, please go subscribe to her. She's made some really good high quality videos. Incredibly well done and a good experience as far as content goes. So if you want to check her out, please do. So she keeps making good content. I will say, in regards to what she said, I do agree with a lot of her opinions here in regards to the game. T-WoW is a good experience. The Unreal Engine 5 is a good update. Across the board though, all it makes me really sad to say is I wish there was Classic Plus. I wish there was an official Classic Plus. If a private server can do this, imagine what a $4 trillion company could do if they gave the Classic dev team a smidgen of money. Write the $1 billion check, Phil Spencer. Give Agrand $1 billion and let's see what he can make. Now that's never gonna happen, let's be real here. But a man could dream. Like a man can dream for an official, high quality Classic Plus. Hey, thank you all for watching. This is my second channel. This is my clip channel. So like and subscribe if you liked it. If you don't, hey, it is what it is. Dislike and subscribe. It's my clip channel. Hey, peace out, everybody. Eben out.